Welcome to the Mount Pleasant podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people at Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor and the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant podcast. Mount Pleasant is such a terrific place to live. So many great things here in the Lowcountry. One of my favorite, at least in my top 3 reasons for living here, local shrimp. There's nothing like driving down to Shem Creek and getting some local shrimp as it comes in. So before we get into the meat of things, let's get to the important stuff. We're going to start with you, Nicole. Your last meal, you can have shrimp prepared one way, any way. What's it going to be?
Easy, fried. My grandfather always said, seafood should be fried. Now, I love seafood a million ways other than fried, but I mean, fried shrimp, come on.
Tracy, same question to you. It's your last meal. You get shrimp. It's prepared the way that you want, which would be?
Yeah, I'm a peel and eat. So I'm a cold shrimp. Yeah. So
good question. I would not have guessed that. She would have guessed fried for me, I bet.
Well, the reason we're talking shrimp is because it's coming up. The Town of Mount Pleasant's 35th annual Blessing of the Fleet. It's a huge event that you want to be a part of. And joining us today to talk about the Blessing of the Fleet is the Community Affairs and Marketing Division Chief. She does have Chief in her title. Nicole Harvey from the Town of Mount Pleasant is with us, and also the Special Events Assistant. And she's also the manager of the Town of Mount Pleasant Farmers Market. Tracy Richter is with us. And Nicole, let's start with you. We're talking about the blessing of the shrimp, the blessing of the fleet.
We are blessing the shrimp. Lots and lots of shrimp. Captains to catch lots and lots of shrimp.
It'll be coming up on Sunday, April 24th. Give us a little background. How did this event come together originally for the Town of Mount Pleasant?
The Magwood family, we have a great video we did on this. I can send you a link to also. But the Magwood family, many, many years ago, had seen I think I should ask them. I think maybe the Darien blessing, because there's blessings of the fleets in, a number of, not a whole lot, but a number of coastal cities. So years ago, they had gone to one and thought it was a wonderful thing, and we should get together in Mount Pleasant and introduce the community to the shrimpers and the fishermen who catch their seafood. And also they wanted a way to give back to the community that supports them. And so, the Magwood family has been in Mount Pleasant for many generations. Wayne, of course, an icon, but his father and grandfather too. And so all of them huge in our community for decades. So they started it, and the Ann Magwood, his wife at the time, they tell stories about collecting all the sodas in their garage and boiling the shrimp, and the kids selling the sodas at the festival. And so, we were talking about this at our captain's meeting last night, actually. We've certainly grown from those days. And we were looking out at Alhambra Hall thinking, can you imagine this festival here now? Because, it was wonderful there. But of course, every good thing, it's hard to hold a secret, right? So we have we have tens of thousands of people come throughout the course of 6 hours. And really the most important piece of it, we all, of course, have lots and lots of fun, and we have live music and so many great things to do, and it's all free. But the point of the whole day is the boat parade at 1:00, when we have Father Lynn Williams, who is retired from the Port and Seafarers Society, and Ben Carver from Shem Creek Presbyterian, our ministers this year. And they will, as we conduct our boat parade, which is very exciting, we pause and have a moment of silence for each boat as they go by, so that the ministers can bless the vessels and the captain and the crew, because, it's a hard life out there on the sea. And so it means a lot to them. This past year, we've seen a lot of the hardship that the captains deal with sometimes. And so it means a lot to them. It's very special to them. They always tell us that. And so we're going to bless them, and we're going to open the season and start getting some more local shrimp on our plates.
Podcast advertising is the new way to reach your best audience. Podcast advertising gives your business a voice of authority. Be heard. Advertise on one of our podcasts. Visit carolinapodcasts.com or call 843-345-7012.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Fried and or peel and eat, either way, or tons of ways to have shrimp. Now, Tracy, let's talk about the who, what, where, when, and why. We've got the event coming up on Sunday, April 24th. Share all the great details with everyone.
All right. So it takes place at our Memorial Waterfront Park, which is right at the base of the Ravenel Bridge. We do have satellite parking. So, there's not a lot of parking at the parks. You can park at East Cooper at the Mullis Building, or you can park at our town hall. You can ride Carta to town hall. And then you can also go through and walk from some of the areas. There's lots of parking. There's a parking garage, and there's some parking lots there. So lots of ways to get there. It starts at 11 a.m.
Sherylwood's Flowers.
Sherylwood's Flowers. Soccer complex. And there's free shuttles. We have even ADA accessible shuttles from East Cooper Medical Center at that Mullis Building. So there's lots of ways to get there. It starts at 11. We have an opening band that'll play until about 12:30. We have the blessing then at 1 o'clock, and then we have more music and fun afterwards. It goes all the way to the end of the day.
Another event, Nicole, that's a free event from the town of Mount Pleasant. No admission to get in. And that's in part due to some of the great people that you guys have brought along. You've had some good sponsors for the Blessing of the Fleet, and this year, certainly the same.
Absolutely. You all being one. Thank you. We're excited to have you guys on board and live broadcasting the boat parade and the blessing when we do that. But of course, we have to thank Harris Teeter, who has been a phenomenal partner for many years now, as well as East Cooper Medical Center. They are our co-presenting sponsors, and they are just amazing to work with. So we're really grateful for the support that they have shown for so many years for this event. And then we've got a lot of other great people who come back year after year, and some new sponsors. So one of our favorite things we added last year is Ashley Home Stores is doing an outdoor lounge again outside of the beer garden and near the merchandise tent, where you want to come buy everything's free except your food and your souvenirs. So come buy some merchandise, because that helps support our beneficiaries. The sales from merchandise will go to East Cooper Community Outreach and Carolina Children's Charity, who they recruit a bunch of volunteers to help us pull this day off. So we couldn't do it without them also.
Today on the Mount Pleasant Podcast, we're talking about the 35th Annual Town of Mount Pleasant Blessing of the Fleet. It's coming up on Sunday, April 24th. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by Nicole Harvey and Tracy Richter with the Town of Mount Pleasant. This is the poster. The sign for the 35th Annual Blessing of the Fleet has all the information on it. You'll see this up and around in businesses all across Mount Pleasant. Tracy, let's get to some of the fun parts. This is a day of family fun. We're even talking about shrimp eating contests and all kinds of fun family activities. It's
a really great day. We have one of the big parts of this that is highly anticipated is our art and craft show. So that's in one portion of the thing. You can come and do lots of shopping with really, really great local artists. Has that real strong local flair. We have several of the Town of Mount Pleasant commissions out there that'll have information. Our public services will have some stuff about water safety. Historic Commission will be out there, and you can come and get a free tree. So our planning department is taking part of the Take Root. So they're going to be passing out free trees. Keep your eye peeled for a very special guest. They'll be roaming around doing pictures and talking about all the different kinds of shrimp and chocolate people might like to eat. Maybe a hint of who it might be. And then in the afternoon, we have a shrimp eating contest. So all throughout the day, you'll have opportunities to buy tickets for a chance to be drawn to compete in the shrimp eating contest. And then after that, we have our Bowers Beach Boogie, which is like a shag dance contest. And that's emceed, and that is sponsored by Harris Teeter. Gilligan sponsors our shrimp eating contest. So there's great prizes from both of those. And then just lots of other exhibitors kind of walk around and look and see. Of course, check out the sponsors. I'm sure they'll all have a lot of good swag. Some people are kind of partial to liking that kind of thing, like me.
Of course. And also, I'm glad you mentioned Gilligan's, because they have been a phenomenal sponsor and partner for many years as well. And they feed all our volunteers. They feed our captains at our meetings. And it's really just a great, we appreciate Dan and Gilligan so much. Yeah.
And one other band that needs to get a little mention here, because they've been doing this event for, well, you need to tell me how long, but the East Coast Party Band is going to be performing, and that's certainly a mainstay of the Blessing of the Fleet, isn't it?
23 years, I think. I think this might be, Jack Tankersley would know for sure, but it's 22 or 23, so a long time. I think they were given the key to the festival many moons ago before Tracy and I even started, and this will be our 12th blessing together.
So we've got the Blessing of the Fleet. It's something that everybody's got to be a part of. Again, Sunday, April 24th, Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park, and 92.5 Kicking Country will have the live broadcast of the Blessing as it happens. Tracy, in your introduction, let's veer off just a little bit for a second or two. You introduced as the manager of the Farmers Market. We're back at Coleman Boulevard next to Moultrie Middle School. Tell us about the Town of Mount Pleasant Farmers Market.
We're so happy to have the market back up, completely full this year. Glad to get everything back to normal. We have lots of fresh farmers that have out there and food products. We're open every Tuesday from 3:30 to 7 through the month of September. Once shrimp season starts, we actually will have someone selling shrimp fairly right off the boat there every day. You can come. We also have other people there selling things ready to eat. One of the Mount Pleasant Seafood's there, and they will steam some shrimp for you, so you can come on Tuesday and try some shrimp, or come the week after the blessing if you come and stay afterwards and do that. Lots of different fun activities kind of going on. Usually live music every week. And, maybe not if it's raining, but we usually are open when it rains. So please don't let the weather deter you from coming by, because those farmers, they have to sell that produce.
It's local, it's fresh fruit, it's fresh vegetables, and fresh local shrimp. You got to take advantage of that Tuesdays at the Town of Mount Pleasant Farmers Market. Now, Nicole, we talk about the events that go on. The Blessing of the Fleet is, of course, just one. Run down so people get an idea of how much you have going on in the town, all of these free events that people can be a part of throughout the calendar year, all that happen here in the Town of Mount Pleasant.
Okay, I'll do that. But first, speaking of the farmers market, how were those strawberries you had last week?
Outstanding. You said they were the best. You did not lie. Best strawberries I've had. Very fresh.
Yeah. So, we have amazing things going on all year round. We don't really take much of a breather anymore these days. Tracy and I, we have our summer movie series, Waterfront Music and Movies at the Park, every Friday in August. We have the really just amazing Sweetgrass Festival that we've taken over since 2019, when the group that had been organizing that was just couldn't continue doing it anymore. So they asked us to do it, and we're honored to be hosting the Sweetgrass Festival. That's always the fourth Saturday in July. And we have our Children's Day Festival, which just celebrates the start of fall and everything amazing. In October is always the third Sunday in October. And we have, one of the greatest holiday traditions, I think, ever, which is our holiday market and the Christmas Light Parade, which the Christmas Light Parade is always the second Sunday in December, and the market is the day before that. So I'm sure I forgot, and actually in the land of COVID, we started all of these we had to get creative, and find ways for people to still get outside, enjoy some music, enjoy some entertainment, be with your community, but still be safe. So we started getting a little bit creative and hosting these kind of small town hall lawn concerts, which, and we limited the number of people and did all the stuff we had to do to make sure everybody could be on the lawn together and safe. And they were so well received. Everyone in the community loved them so much. So we do some other little things like that. A trunk or treat event was introduced where we could just keep everyone spread out, control the size. And so lots of fun little stuff like that also. And then, of course, as part of the recreation department, our programs and athletics divisions do amazing things all year long too. Smaller things, Easter egg hunts and things like that. So we are just crazy busy all the time.
Crazy busy is good, though. Lots going on in the town of Mount Pleasant. This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm Brian Cleary. This, of course, is a service of Mount Pleasant Magazine. You want to find out what's going on in the town of Mount Pleasant, you'll find it in the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine. Today, we're joined by Tracy Richter and Nicole Harvey from the town of Mount Pleasant. We're talking about the 35th annual Blessing of the Fleet. It's sponsored by East Cooper Medical Center and also Harris Teeter. It's coming up on Sunday, April 24th. And Tracy, talk about a little about our venue. Nicole mentioned this was a smaller event at Alhambra Hall. Now, and not everybody has experienced it, and they really need to. Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park, what a beautiful, picturesque place to have the Blessing of the Fleet.
They started calling the Waterfront Park our crown jewel, and it really is. It is just a beautiful park right on the water. The pier was built on the base of the old bridge, so people who haven't been here for more than 10 years might not remember the old bridge. They've maybe seen pictures of it. When they demolished it and built the new bridge, we were able to acquire that land that was the base of the old bridge, and they put this beautiful park out there, and it is a memorial park. So there's a couple of memorial statues that are in there. We have some public art in there. It's got 2 rental venues, and normally they're a gorgeous playground. And of course the pier, which I think is the longest pier on the East Coast.
It was at one time, but not anymore. Now I think it's third, but it's still
third, yeah. But it is
quarter of a mile, I think.
Yeah. It is nice and wide and solid because it's as big as 2 cars used to be. It's very wide because it was, you could drive a car down there because, well, you can't drive a car down there, but it's big enough that somebody could. And the pier is managed by the Charleston County Parks, and they have a lot of fun events out there also. So we have the rental venue, which is open. Anybody can see it at the Blessing Fleet. That's another kind of point that, that building's not always open, the room with the murals. So at the Blessing, it's a chance that everyone kind of can get in there and look at all the buildings and go over to the Sweetgrass Cultural Arts Pavilion and meet some basket makers over there when they're shopping at the craft show, see the playground, and just see how walkable that whole park is. It has a paved path all the way around it, so it's really accessible to everybody.
And if you get yourself out on the pier, and you should, that's going to be the best place to see the parade of boats that'll happen again right around 1 o'clock. Of course, folks will be out on the harbor watching from their boats. But Nicole, the event will, at the beginning early on, there's going to be a procession that will lead to the parade of boats. Isn't that correct?
Correct. So the mayor will have our opening band, and everybody will be getting settled in and doing their shopping and getting their food. The mayor will make welcome remarks at 12:30, and then immediately following that, around 12:45, at the beginning at the pier shop in the Pier Plaza, we will have a procession of the Honor Guard, the Mount Pleasant Fire Department Honor Guard, and the mayor and the Magwood family, who helps us plan this still to this day. They will all, and then there will be thousands of people on the pier, and it's really a very reverent and special, just cool moment. It's very moving to be part of. And then as we get to the end of the pier, that is when the boat parade will begin, and the ministers will bless the boats. But, as I was saying that, and as Tracy was talking about what a wonderful venue the park is for this event, what I love about it is that it's not a huge park, but it's just big enough for what this is, I think. And so even though there's tons of people, you never feel crowded. It's always, very comfortable and open air, sunlight. I mean, it's really just one of the best days of spring. I might be biased, but it's always an incredible day.
And that's a great point, because if somebody is a little nervous still about COVID, one, we're talking about an outdoor event, but 2, Nicole, really is. There's a lot of room. You're going to have thousands of people there, but you'll still feel safe and be able to have that social distance if you want.
Yeah.
And let me ask you one other thing, just because, obviously the Magwood family, it's been a while now, but still feeling the loss. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of Wayne Magwood and what we're missing not having him here? That's a hard one. It has been a little over a year. Thank goodness we got through the last blessing, was our first blessing without Wayne. And, of course, this festival, I said to Ann last night, this is really their baby. And so it's hard. It's hard on the girls, really, who have been doing this for him, with him for a long time. But
he was just such a special person. He never met a stranger. I think in the days after he passed, I must have heard that a million times, and it's honestly true. The minute you knew him, he was just would do anything for you. Always a smile, always, how can I help? Always, thank you so much for what you do. Even though he would always do so much. A lot of people don't know about him is that he was so heavily involved in helping the shrimping industry here in Mount Pleasant and really all over the country. He went to DC and lobbied for the fishing industry and shrimping industry. And he just did a lot of things to help improve the whole entire industry. And so, he 1 year at the blessing of the fleet, Senator Campson gave him the Order of the Palmetto Award from the governor, which is one of the highest honors in the state. But mainly, I think what everyone misses most about him is just seeing him and his smile. Because I don't think I ever saw him without a smile. Did you, Tracy? Never.
No. And one thing about Wayne and the Blessing of the Fleet is he's always still a little bit a part of it because the Miss Paula is only in existence because of Wayne. The captain went on a field trip on Wayne's boat when he was in middle school, and that made him want to be a shrimper. And so that whole business, and they have 2 boats now, and they're keeping the whole kind of Shem Creek going. The Tarvin Seafood, that was part of Wayne starting that. And then we have another boat. It's Wayne's nephew, Rocky, is in the boat parade, and he has the Eleanor Page. And that boat was towed up by the Winds of Fortune. So, Wayne still, that boat's here because of Wayne, because of the Winds of Fortune. So, this festival's kind of started by him, but he's still around a good bit, and a little bit of everybody's boats or stories. They all keep a story of Wayne kind of going. And, we love the fact that the daughters are still so involved, and
all 4 daughters are really carrying on his legacy in an amazing way. So, and I guess we should say for Tracy, all of them really, that they are talking about the Wayne Magwood bronze statue where they're working to try to raise funds to put on the Shem Creek Pier, the walking pathway that they put over Shem Creek across the creek. So, that's something really cool that we hope to get done somewhere in the future, and will help him live on forever in bronze format.
So we know that Captain Magwood will have a big presence, even though he won't be there in person. He'll be there in spirit. The 35th annual Blessing of the Fleet coming up. Tracy, give me my marching orders here. I'm going to enter the shrimp eating contest. What's going to be my secret to winning? How can I make certain that I am the winner of the shrimp eating contest? Give me a hint.
Peel, eat, chew, swallow, fast as you can. Peel, eat, chew, swallow. Eat the whole shrimp, though. We don't want you get caught on a technicality of trying to only get, and don't eat the shells.
We're talking about the 35th annual Blessing of the Fleet today on Mount Pleasant Podcast. Ladies, if people want to find out more ahead of the blessing, where should they go to get that information?
experiencemountpleasant.com/play. And then also check out the Facebook page, the event page on Mount Pleasant Recreation on Facebook. And there will be lots of information being posted coming over the next week. We have some social media ambassadors who will be, so you can always search for hashtag Just Ask. Why hashtag Just Ask? Just ask where your seafood comes from. It should come from the ocean, if not from Shem Creek.
Local shrimp being celebrated. It's all part of what is one of the many, many things that make Mount Pleasant a wonderful place to live. Nicole Harvey, Tracy Richter from the town of Mount Pleasant. Ladies, thanks so much for your time today on Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Thank you so much, Brian. We love talking with you.
And we look forward to seeing everyone at Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park Sunday, April 24th from 11 until 5. It's the 35th annual Blessing of the Fleet. It's sponsored by East Cooper Medical Center, as well as our good friends at Harris Teeter. We've got all kinds of great stuff going on, live music, every kind of entertainment for your entire family. It's going to be a great time, and things that you'll find out and see more about in the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine. I'm Brian Cleary. Thanks again for joining us today on Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant Podcast, your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.